Yo, it's Josh and T-Cat. Best believe that. Reeling in the truth. Stacking on the film snack. Popcorn popping. Critics keep talking. On this podcast, ain't no time for stalking. Real fine by me, we keeping it free. Josh and T-Cat, the hosts you wanna see. Movie reviews, jokes that ain't new. Keep it locked in, cause we know what to do. Lights, camera, action, movie main attraction. Critics we ain't, but we got that passion. Breaking down the scenes, funny like memes. Josh and T-Cat, man, living the dream.
T-Cat's got that Howard Stern setup going on.
Yeah, we got some crazy stuff happening here today. Ordered me a new mic set up, got me some headphones so I can hear Teddy Roosevelt better there.
It was either Teddy Roosevelt or Abraham Lincoln. So maybe next time you'll get that president. We'll see.
We will see.
My third favorite president, Teddy Roosevelt. It's crazy around here. My cat just ran down the hallway. I don't know what happened. Just jumped off the wall, parkour style. I don't know.
Well,
I
welcome
guess
back
you
to
thought her
another
name.
episode of Real Fine by Me.
I get distracted so easily.
We do get distracted real easy.
Hey, but it's a fun time, fun podcast. We can get distracted.
So we're starting this week with our new Halloween setup.
Spooky season.
So we're going to start doing horror movies, scary movies. It's the scary season, right?
I like to watch scary movies, but we have to watch something like funny afterwards before I go to bed.
You have nightmares.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Yeah, I can't be doing all that.
That's funny. Do you have any Halloween decorations up yet?
We've got some outside. We got like a painted like welcome sign outside, and one side's like welcome, it's pretty much year round, and the other side is like a castle with like bats and it says trick or treat. It's got like a full moon. And then we got a few things inside, but I haven't went too crazy yet, but it's about time.
I got you.
How about y'all?
So no, we don't decorate for Halloween very much anyway. We
Yeah.
have fall decorations on the porch, pumpkins and orange flowers and stuff of that nature. That's kind of what we do. We don't put out scary things. We live right on Main Street, so I guess we could go wild if we wanted to.
Y'all could. There are some wild ones down the road from y'all.
Just never got into the decorating for any holiday.
I like to do like we used to do like Christmas lights a little bit like growing up, but that's really about it. And it would only be like maybe like a couple trees or like around like your porch, or something like that. It was not like stuff in the yard or inflatables or there's a house up close to y'all on the street behind y'all that has like a huge like skeleton, like a 10-foot tall skeleton in their front yard, and like cemetery gates and tombstones and all sorts of wild stuff. It's pretty cool.
We went to Lowe's and there was a electronic DJ skeleton for $400, and
Golly.
he was 12 foot tall and would play music and dance.
Bluetooth?
Yeah, whatever music you wanted to play.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Oh.
$400 is a little steep.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Not in this economy.
Well, how about we get into finding out what this wheel has in store for us in
Spin that scary wheel.
First spooky season movie of the year. Saw the movie.
Shoo, boy. This really hits home to me.
It does. It's I think of this movie as kind of the first, they call it gore porn movie, where it's all about blood and guts and nastiness, ripping people apart.
Kind of like those Terrifier movies that are like popular now.
Yeah, this kind of started that whole deal. It was the first one to really go after the real gore aspect of these.
Us looking, we remember this movie coming. Like I know, like this movie come out when I was in high school. Like it was like huge, and like to think of everything like the Saw universe that's come after this movie is insane.
Oh yeah, it's this movie's an hour and 43 minutes long. It definitely started something. didn't count, but I think there's 9 of these movies.
Nine of
Yeah,
them. They have like
and
spin-off shows. They have theme park attractions. They
yeah,
have,
it's crazy. And to think this movie cost $1.2 million to make in the beginning.
and how much did it make in the box office?
$104 million.
104 million, dude. That's crazy. What was that other old one that was like super more back in your day? The Blair Witch Project. It was like cheap cut movie and it did pretty well too, but not that well, I don't think.
It I think it did really well in its time. Its downfall was that they figured out, and it's on our wheel, so we might have to watch it. That they
Mm.
figured out that that movie wasn't real. It was really the first, you know, internet marketing program
Yeah,
for
like a
movies.
faux, like a yeah, like a spoof almost, kind of. But they did it in a way that was terrifying. I remember being like 10 years old and they were running through the woods with their cameras up in their face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a crazy movie.
But
So
yeah, back to Saul.
yeah, back to Saul.
Back to Saul. Here we go.
So I didn't put down the year this thing was made.
2004.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 2003, 2004.
2004.
Really, the only big name in this movie, Danny Glover, probably would have been a box office draw.
Carrie Ailes is pretty
Harry
big.
Ells is pretty big. I
Yeah.
don't know if you'd go buy a ticket just because he was in it
No, no, but he's a really good supporting cast. You know, like he's
for
in
sure.
Liar Liar. He's one of those guys like he's in a bunch of movies, but he does so good of like blending in and like being such a good actor. Like you don't even like know it's Carrie Ailes sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the director was new, James Wan.
Hmm.
His friend Lee Waldell is uh, helped him write this. He's also the young guy that's chained in the bathroom.
Okay.
So that's part of it. They said that they dreamed up all the traps and stuff were from their nightmares as kids. They had some crazy nightmares. My nightmares are like snakes attacking me and stuff. They had contraptions trying to rip their jaws off, and
I
they're
have really ironically scary dreams. Like all of my dreams that are scary just have to do with like crazy like irony. Like I had a really scary dream one time that I was like stuck like in this cave and the only way to get out was like this hole like up and the ladder to get out of the cave was books. And I had to read each book to get like a different like a level up to out of this thing. And I got to the very top and the book was Braille. Like what? Like what's up with that, dude? Like
that
I
is
got to the very
very.
top and it was Braille. What kind of dream is that?
I don't have elaborate dreams. Usually, ever if I have nightmares, I'm either falling or snakes for some reason. I'm not a big snake.
Snakes. Did they say if you dream about snakes, you about to fall into a bunch of money, T-Cat?
It hasn't happened yet.
Well, keep dreaming about snakes, dude. Buy a lottery ticket.
So, in a win for the directors, they decided not to take a salary for this movie and took percentage on the back.
Oh, the smart move.
So they were really invested in their product, and they knew it
Well,
was.
I guess too, with being able to keep it like I know just from our little small things we have with the podcast, and you know how it is buying equipment and stuff. I mean, it's crazy cost for any kind of production you don't even think about. So, like, I guess for them to do that, they were really saying, "Hey, they were probably able to kind of like bend the rules a little bit and kind of do what they want to do because they're like, "Hey, I mean, I'm not even getting paid. Like, like we're doing this. I can't hear you anymore."
You can't hear me.
Yeah, yeah, now I can.
Oh,
You kind
okay.
of cut out for a second, but
You're
yeah,
fine.
so like they were probably like, "Hey," and then whenever it did 1,000% in the box office, they probably did pretty good.
Yeah, I would think so. Plus, the Saw 2 was approved opening weekend. They seen right after the first weekend how big this was. They were like, let's go for another one. And I'm sure they got paid on the back end on all that stuff, right?
Yeah, dude. I remember when this movie come out, dude. I didn't go watch the first one in theaters, but I went and watched the second one, after the first one because it was just such a big hit. And I remember the very, of course, we're about to get into the review, but I remember from the first time watching this movie to watching it now, I felt way different about the movie.
I would agree with that. Um, I don't know if that's maturity or if it's
Getting
looking
your
at
own
it
leg
in a
cut off,
different
maybe.
light.
Getting your
Yeah,
own
for
leg cut
you,
off.
there you have a whole different situation. I don't know if some of our viewers even realize that Josh is an amputee.
Above knee amputee.
Yeah,
And that's didn't happen until I was 30 years old. So
I didn't think about that aspect, Josh, until just this moment.
yeah,
So
dude.
yeah, I would
That
here
was a little
soon. I would
rough.
love for you to dive more into that. So
Yeah.
how about we kind of talk about this movie? We got two men locked in a bathroom, and they're with another
They
person.
wake up, right? Like they wake up in the bathroom.
There were three people in there, right? There was a
Mhm.
dead, what assumed to be a dead guy,
A body laying in the
yeah,
middle, face down,
face down, and they're chained
ass
to
up.
opposite walls. And then they find out that they're been trapped by a notorious serial killer they called Jigsaw.
Play a
Which
game.
plays through the whole aspect of all these movies, not just this one.
He
Uh,
just wants to play a game.
yeah, and but before we go too far, we probably should give a shout out to our sponsors,
Got to
right?
pay the bills.
W Energy drinks, even Jigsaw would approve of these. Sometimes you need that extra boost of energy to survive a day. With flavors like Pine Berry Splash, Push and Punch, and Watermelonade, W keeps your mind sharp
Watermelonade.
and your energy high. Head over to w.gg and use the code Find by Me for 10% off your order because surviving your day shouldn't be this scary.
Watermelonade.
So, what did you see as far as themes that you've seen in this movie? Obviously, there's the gore factor. I think that was the shock and all. But I kind of looked at, moral choices versus consequences. You
Yeah.
know, um,
I like
Jigsaw.
how he not really like yes, that part of it like with the story, but I like how it was kind of shot almost like Tarantino-esque. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you had to like develop this like you've seen like the outcome and then you saw what led to this outcome. And I kind of like movies that are kind of like that sometimes. I tend to lean towards movies like that anyway.
And
So
after watching this, I sent you a text message that said, it's a weird movie with a good message at the end of it, right? Like,
yeah,
uh,
be thankful for what
be
you know every day.
be thankful for what you'll be more now that you've been through this horrific situation. You'll be more thankful for your life than you were before.
That
Uh,
is true, but I think, I wonder after like a certain amount of time if that wears off, like that feeling.
I mean, you would probably be the person to ask that, Josh. I mean, to be honest with you,
That is true, man. I
you
do
went
think
through
about
that.
that. That
Did,
is true. It definitely changed how I look at things.
has that wore off for you?
No, it has not wore off. I have days where it wears off a little bit that day. We all have our moments. We're
Right.
human, but in a sense, no, it really doesn't wear off because it's such a traumatic experience, I guess, and such a gift. Like I remember, like after like I lost my leg, dude. Like the next day, I like waking up, like I didn't know, going in that I would, make it through the surgery. They told me it was 50-50.
Yeah.
So I remember waking up, dude, and just being on like I've never felt that kind of like uh being on cloud nine, I guess, like that relief, excitement, joy, just like I knew that, obviously my life was going to be changed forever, but that I was just happy to be here still. So at the end of the day, I guess it really doesn't affect you to a point to where it would. Oh, I guess it depends on the levity of the situation and how you take it yourself too, though. Some of those people probably that are put themselves in the situation in that movie, these movies
Right.
might not have the same thought process.
So I'm gonna put a big banner here. Tell everybody if you haven't seen this movie, I'm gonna spoil the shit out of it.
It's been out
So
21 years.
stop.
Sorry.
It's been it's been out 21 years. If you ain't seen this movie, stop what you're doing, go watch it, come back. But we're gonna talk about how this movie ends. Uh, we find out the dead body laying in this room was Jigsaw the whole time.
That
He was
sly
controlling,
sucker,
and
dude.
he was controlling this whole thing, which and he gives that line at the end about um, now you'll see life a little bit different. Uh, I'll be honest with you, Josh. I don't know if I could have cut my leg off.
Ugh,
I don't know.
man. It. Of
through
course,
all
I've been
that,
through it. I didn't do it. I mean, I've been through it. Of course, his is a little bit lower. He's still got to keep his knee. So, I
yeah,
mean, I think about that. He didn't get out that awful. But I mean, just to do it, I mean, I guess it depends on how bad you want to survive. At the end of the day, it's each person's different.
right,
Like what are you willing to do to live? You know, and somebody's, I guess finish line's different than other people's, and they'll do whatever it takes. And some people are just survivors too, you know.
yeah. And he cut it off because he was trying to get to his family. So
His family, yeah.
I mean,
He had motivation.
yeah. So maybe that, maybe I would at that point. Um, I also know because of my past experiences that he could have sawed through some of that stuff, the chains and stuff with that saw. I know they make it in
Yeah.
the movie act like they couldn't
I
for
think
whatever
about just how
reason.
gross that room is, and he's cutting into his leg, and I'm like, oh, the
Uh,
infection.
my thing is they had two saws. They're obviously sharp enough to cut through bone. They could have cut through certain parts of that. I would have cut the bolt off that shackle, not the chain, because the
Yeah.
bolt would have cut a lot easier. Um, I look at it different because I former experience with metallurgy and working in
Yeah,
that stuff.
that's like the weakest point,
Yeah,
like right where it connects.
yeah,
So, well, also, were they locked through the chain
yeah,
too? Like, was it a lock?
yeah. You
Couldn't
could
you
have cut the
saw into like where the key goes in too? Couldn't you saw in right through there and maybe break a chamber?
yeah, or you could have cut the pipe that it was
The pipe is
attached.
what I would always thought. Like, man, I've cut through pipes with hacks. It sucks, but I've
Yeah.
done it.
There had to be a better weak point than what he had. But I
That's
guess
kind of what I was getting at. Like, watching it now, like, why would the first instinct be to cut through your leg?
yeah,
Like, out of of course, he tries, like, fails
right,
trying to cut through the chain and freaks out, and gets upset, and he has like a moment of, I guess, like quitting almost. Like,
yeah,
he thought about it. And he's like, you know what? I bet my leg's not that hard to cut through. I can saw through bone. I've tried to saw through deer antlers before, like helping like my uncle with like a mount. And dude, it takes forever
yeah, it
to
does.
saw, and that's the same material as a bone. Maybe not as hard as a bone. And in your leg, like your leg bones are the strongest bones in your body
And the biggest ones.
and the biggest ones. So I mean, I don't know, man. So
So they show a bunch of different sadistic traps that he made that Jigsaw created. What was your which one were you kind of in awe by? The reverse bear trap, the
that's what I
thing
was going to say. The
is
reverse bear trap's like the most gnarly.
it's
Just
super gnarly.
absolutely, I mean, and knowing, like, while it's on your face, I'm sure it hurt being in your
Yeah,
mouth and all that
yeah,
stuff too. So, like, what's about to happen. So, just leading up to that would be awful. What
yeah.
was that one always stuck out to me is like the first thing I think about when I think of any of the Saw movies is
And
that woman sitting in there.
that and the guy strung up in the barbed wire like he was trying to get out, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
He had to crawl through it, and he was
And
like,
he,
"That's pretty
in that
bad."
razor wire, he got all twisted up. Yeah, that would be bad because you would just fight, you'd be killing yourself, which,
Yeah, every time you move. So
every time.
those two kind of stuck out to me. Um, it is a I think if and I sent you a video of like the evolution of the Saw movies.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched them all, that it's a cartoon that this guy drew about the evolution of the Saw
Yeah,
movies.
and how gnarly they've gotten.
Yeah, it gets pretty convoluted with how they get each guy to come in and help him along the way and all this stuff. But
Yeah,
this one in particular had especially in 2004, had a really crazy premise, something we didn't see, kind of genre changing uh, type movie. And I think that's probably its best attributes is that it kind of changed the way the horror industry uh, went about making movies.
I think the first one is just so, like you said, is so uh, unique, and there's nothing else like it because it's simple too. Like you can tell, like it's just a lot of good dialogue. It really is, and Carrie Ells really sells it too. Is that guy in there with him, and then they like them turning on each other. Like they have that moment, like where they kind of realize like they're intertwined with each other, and he's sees that picture, and he's like, "Hey
Mhm.
man, like why do you have this? Like what's going on here?" And that whole story, there's drama, there's some humor in it.
A little bit.
There's some funny parts a little bit, and kind of it has the moments of like false hope too. Like it's almost like, hey, like I can survive this. I just need some time, or like this is going to be okay. But then at the end, they ultimately know that, hey, either I can sacrifice this or something to myself, or I'm going to die here. Like they finally, you just see them start to deteriorate and decompensate as the movie goes on. I think that's what makes it so like stirring,
Yeah,
like
I
when you
agree.
watch it.
Yeah, and they kind of want you to throughout the other movies to feel bad for Jigsaw because he has brain cancer
Right,
and all this stuff, and he's trying to make bad people pay for bad things they've
right.
done.
Vigilante justice.
Yeah, it's
He's no different than Batman, really.
yeah, he's just a Batman in a different
Right. He's just packaged differently.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the takeaway when you watch Saul, guys, is that he's really just a superhero.
He's vigilante justice. He's no
This
different than Deadpool.
this could be the DC universe.
He's like Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool.
Yep. He had a life altering experience and died, beat it, kind of. And now he's trying to help people like him. You know?
That is one way to put it.
I like to look at it as almost like a love story, if you will.
So for me,
Just a twisted love story.
we touched on this at the beginning. It kind of changed for me too. Obviously, in 2004, I was 22 years old. Uh, I don't even remember the first time I watched this movie. More than likely, it was probably on my couch with a young lady watching it, just hoping that she got scared. Uh,
Under
Realizing
the
that it
covers.
probably I don't know. It could have been with my buddies. I really don't remember the first time I watched it. We could have just
Under the
been hanging out.
covers.
I know I didn't go to the movie theater and watch it.
I wasn't old enough to get into the movie theater to watch
Yeah.
it. I was only 16 when this came out.
So it wasn't, and I've never been into movies quite like this. To be honest with you, the gore factor of it's really not something that I go and look for.
Yeah.
But rewatching it again, this, I'm not going to say I'm sympathetic to Jigsaw, but I understand the kind of what they're trying to push here. Uh,
Yeah.
the
The
social
silver linings.
commentary, you need to be on the you need to look for the silver lining in life and not be
Yeah,
so
dude.
worried about stuff. Have a new look at
Because things
new look.
happen.
So, what about you? I know we teased this a little bit in the beginning. Things have quite changed for
I
you.
I like the movie. It's a good movie. I haven't seen it in a few years. We watched it probably 2 or 3 years ago, and we went on like a little marathon. Like watched up till about the fourth, and I was like, all right, this is enough. It just got to be like I'm tired of people's faces getting ripped off. Like
Right?
this is wild. But this one, I guess it's a little more intimate setting. It's quiet. You know what I mean? Like you get to kind of like know these guys and like their story, and then like him like cutting through his leg. Of course, that's rough for me for
Right.
a couple like on the nose reasons, but also just because like he just you can tell he's just like already so defeated. You know what I mean? That like it's come to this point. Like he realized that the choices that he's made have put him here.
Right.
So like he finally starts to like take accountability for that, and then it just sucks that it had to get all the way to there of him getting to this point to where he's going to be. It's going to change his life forever. You know, but it's a good movie. It's
Yeah,
just
I think the spectacle of it is probably what drew me when I was younger. Right?
oh yeah. I mean that's what it
Everything.
draws to you now. I mean I think that that's a lot of the selling point now still too. Like it still holds up as like a as a as a movie that you could watch it and have a different feeling on it every time you watch it if you just kind of watch it from different angles.
Yeah, you this was such a success. Obviously, other production companies, other movie theaters had to make something like it. So you got movies like Hostel,
Yeah.
Human Centipede. I think
Human Centipede.
um, the that
Terrifier movies.
those Rob Zombie movies
Yeah,
that
Rob
he
Zombie
made.
movies.
They came back and redid like Texas Chainsaw
Texas
Massacre,
Chainsaw
stuff
Massacre.
like that, all behind this movie. And I think, like I said, it changed the horror genre
I
quite
think
a bit.
it also kind of like revamped it because like I know like the 80s were huge for like horror movies. You know what I mean? And like the
Right.
90s were action movies again, action and comedy, and like buddy comedies early 2000. And this uh kind of lit the way for like a whole like spin-off genre besides what was out, besides like a Will Ferrell movie or a Jack Black movie, you know?
Yeah, I think the '80s horror scene was more campy. It was kind of more
Yeah,
jokey and it wasn't
right.
realistic. Uh, then in the late '90s, you seen movies like Scream come in and kind of put a
Yeah.
realistic
I call
twist
them
to it.
comfort scary movies. It's like, you can watch those movies and they have a good ending. Like it's not like everybody dies and the killer gets away. The killer gets, they get retribution. The killer, I guess they get justice. The killer doesn't get away, so it's still good defeating evil. But with Saul, it's like, hey, you can decide who the bad guy is here.
Yeah, who
You
is
know
the
what I
bad
mean?
guy?
Yeah, like who is the bad guy here?
So before we get to our ratings, I'd like to share a couple Google reviews I found, which these are, as you can imagine, all over the place. Uh, so I got Frankie, who decided 11 months ago to get on Google and make a review for this. He said, "I have so much stuff to say about this movie. I've been wanting to watch it for years, but I never knew the name. And like a month ago, I finally knew it, so I went and watched it. It's so amazing, and the plot twist, never seen better. My favorite character is Adam, obviously, and I was honestly so sad when he died. But this movie is just perfection. My new favorite horror movie ever. Currently, I'm watching Saw 3, and I'm absolutely loving all movies so far. Saw must be the best franchise in history. If you're thinking about whether you should watch it or not, then stop thinking, go watch it. It'll completely blow your mind. 5 stars.
Sold.
Yeah. Frankie was all over it 11 months ago.
I
I
bet when he
think,
got to the fourth one and got halfway through it, he was like, "All right, this is enough."
well, I mean, 11 months ago, he's probably not finished with all 35 of them.
Probably not. Probably not. He's probably looking for the roller coaster at Disneyland.
So, Darlene, 4 months ago, had a completely different take. So, to whoever created the Saw movie, is you're very sickening and disturbing. How dare you make movies like that? It is very disturbing. Like, how is that appropriate to put in movie theaters? I don't understand how this was even movie theaters. That is a producer and director. You guys are sick, and whoever likes this or whoever likes to follow this, you need to find medical help or some psychology help because literally you guys are sick. Could you even watch a movie? I couldn't even watch any type of flick of the Saw movies at all. You guys are fucking disgusting. Matter of fact, how about you guys go kill yourself?
Jeez, she might need to be the one that needs to get some help.
Yeah, that one went way off
Went very
the
personal.
rails there.
Yeah, that
Also,
one seemed personal.
it may sound like I can't read. It's really these people can't write. I'm reading it
Right.
word for word on how
Verbatim.
they said how they wrote it in here. So any grammatical errors and run-on sentences,
You just try to
that
get around them.
that's all Darlene's fault.
You probably even helped her. You probably even made it a little better just reading it,
All right,
darling.
Josh. We're coming to that time. I want to know what you feel about Saul in the movies.
I'm not going to rate it super high because it's a horror movie. So get that out of the way. And that's not a knock on the movie. That's not a knock on horror movies. It's just that I think that like there has to be a certain standard and with dialogue and stuff for a horror movie and a gore porn movie like this, it's very good dialogue because a lot of times you'll get this, it'll just be about the kill. It'll just be about the kill, the lead up to the kill and the kill, and that's it. Like the bigger the kill, that's what they're selling. But this one, good dialogue. I bought the end of the story. I felt for the characters. I felt with the characters. And like you said, you can kind of make your own mind up who the bad guy is or who the bad entity is. So I'm going to give this a 3.1, which is going to be pretty high for a horror kind of movie.
That's mostly fine by me. When you started out, I thought you were going to go lower than that, to be honest
No,
with you. Um,
no.
so for me, um, I'm not the gore. That stuff doesn't appeal to me. I'm not going to sit down and watch this movie. It,
With a big pizza, just eat some pizza and
yeah,
watch this guy chop his leg off.
I've got a teenage son here at the house. He might want to watch it with his friends, that come over. That might be the only reason I
Right,
would ever turn this on other than the podcast that we're doing now.
right.
Um, I honestly, I look at it, I know it was a low budget movie when it came out. I don't think the film quality is great. It's very grainy. It's hard to see. I think they could have spent an extra $1 million and made this thing look good.
You got a camera, yeah,
Yeah. And then it
and a
probably would have been even
director of
better.
photography.
And I know they covered that moving forward. The other movies are a lot better visually. This one was just so hard to watch. You almost needed to turn off every light in the house to be able to see what was
We had to watch it at nighttime for
going on.
sure.
For sure. I'm going to go a 2.5, so I'm dropping down to kind of fine by me. Um, it's just not in Travis's wheelhouse. It's not that the movie's bad. It's just not something that
Right.
I like. So with that, it's a gore movie. It is what it is on the face. I think everybody that's made it this far in our podcast knows exactly what this movie is. If you like it and it's a 4 or 5 for you, that's great. It's just not for me.
It's not a 4 or 5 for us, but it's definitely solid. It's
Yeah,
definitely,
it's
like you
all
said, it's not something I'm going to say, hey, you want to watch a scary movie tonight? Let's watch Saw. I'm never going to say that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had to hunt the DVD out that, like, because it was on, you had to rent it, and which I was fine with. But, like, I know we have the first two or three. I found the first two. So I was like, I had to blow the dust off of it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, it's not something you watch quite a bit.
right. It's, like I said, and it's so, like you said, grainy and that part too. But I think that's kind of what makes it kind of sells it to me because it is so cheap and it's still a pretty solid production to be so cheaply put and got some decent acting in it. So I think that's kind of a little more endearing part to me because I like the work that I know goes into that stuff. But yeah, you're right. They could have probably spent another couple $100,000 and got a decent camera and some kind of low budget director of photography just to get some because some of the shots are good, but some of the shots, man, it's like you got these two dudes in this angle in this huge dark room. So you
Yep.
can't even so like they could have kind of I like square lines like like Stanley Kubrick or something like that. But you can definitely tell he didn't film this movie. So, or it wasn't Spielberg and it wasn't Michael Bay, but
Right.
it was still pretty solid for a gore porn movie, horror movie, and I think we weren't that far off, a little over half a point. So
Well, that's a review, Josh.
hopefully next time we're going to keep continuing the spooky wheel, and maybe we'll get a classic or maybe something a little newer. I guess we'll just have to
Yeah.
find out. You'll have to come back and find out.
Find out on the next episode. If you have a scary horror movie you'd like for us to add to the wheel, please comment below and
Comment anything if you
yeah,
like it, if you hate it, if you think we're close, if we're off. Like, what do you think about the movie Saw? We'd love to hear more back. I know people watch it, but just nobody ever comments. So
so subscribe, watch the main podcast Fine by Me featuring Josh
e-
there,
every
and
Thursday,
every Thursday at 5 a.m. new episodes come out.
yeah,
And
watch them when you want. You don't have to get up at 4:55 and watch it.
I
You can
do
watch
every
it
every
whenever.
every Thursday. So
I don't. I don't get up and listen to it.
all right,
I don't. Well, all
we'll
right.
see
Well,
y'all
thank
next.
y'all. See you.